Hey, welcome to the video. Sometimes they say it's the simple things in life. Well, the same can also be said about Excel. Today we're going to take a look at the TOCOL function. It's a really super useful function to help you clean up your data. And I'm also going to show an example how you can combine it with some other functions like the unique, sort, and filter function. All right, let's get started. The TOCOL function converts a range or an array into a column, right? So in this example here, I just created a really simple table on the left. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this would be my range over here. And I just want to take this information and convert it into a column. And the TOCOL function allows us to do that, right? So this is a really simple example, but you could imagine having maybe a spreadsheet with a lot of data. It would function the same way. So what you need to do is, let's just start by typing in the function. So we'll type equals TOCOL. All right, our first argument, the obvious one, and it's actually the only mandatory argument, is going to be the array. So in this case here, we're going to select our range, right? And then the next argument is whether we want to ignore blanks, ignore errors, ignore both, or we just want to keep all the values, which is the default. So if I just left this blank, it would just return all the values, right? So I'm going to leave it blank for now. And then our final argument is, do we want to scan by row or do we want to scan by column? And that'll have an impact on how the data is laid out in the column, right? So for now, I'm going to leave it with the default. I'm just going to leave it on false. I'm going to hit enter. And there we go. So simple as that. All right, so hopefully you're seeing how if you had a much larger data set, how you could use the TOCOL function to help clean that up, generate maybe some meaningful reports, and even something as simple as a drop-down. So let's jump into the next example that I wanted to demonstrate, where we're going to include the sort and unique function to help us make this even more powerful. I modified the table on the left just a little bit so that we have some duplicate data in there and a blank. And let's take a look at each function really quickly that I'm going to use to help me clean this up, right? So my first function is the sort function. I'm going to type equals sort, and I'm going to select column A as my array. And what the sort function wants to do, it just wants to, put data in ascending or descending order. So it took my data from column A and put it in ascending order. But you can see that in there I have a duplicate, which is orange. So now I'm going to use the unique function just to clean that up. So I'm going to type in unique, and I'm just going to put that sort function within unique. And now I have just banana and orange, right? So with these two functions now, I'm going to combine it with the TOCOL function to give me my clean list, right? So we'll start with equals sort, and then within sort, I'm going to type in the unique function, right? And then within unique, I'm going to put the TOCOL function. And now I will select my array. And because we have a blank this time, I'm actually going to pick 1 in my second argument so that we ignore blanks. I'm going to close that out. I'm going to close out the unique function, close out the sort function, hit enter, and there we have it. I'd like to draw your attention to the updated list, which now excludes the word apple. Before I show you the formula that I used to accomplish this, I'm just going to go through a really simple example of how the filter function works, right? So I'm just going to unhide these columns. Now, on the left here, I have a table with a list of students and their grades. What I want to do is return students who have a grade of higher or 80 in my table on the right. So I'm going to use the filter function to accomplish that. So I'm just going to type in equals filter, right? Our first argument is the array. What do we want to keep, right? So in this case here, I want to keep the entire table. But now, the second argument, what do I want to include from that entire table? Well, in this case here, I want to analyze the column with the grades, and anything that's greater than or equal to 80, we want to keep. So I'm just going to close that out, and you can see the filter function returned students with a grade of higher than 80. All right, so let's just go take a look now at my example with the raw data. Right, so if I go and I just take a look at that formula, I've already put it in the filter function just to spare us the time of me typing it out. Right, so what I've done is I've kept the initial formula, but I broke it into the two main arguments of the filter function, right? So the first argument is the array, right? So our raw data, right? The second argument is from that raw data or that array, what do we want to include or exclude? Well, in this case here, it's Apple. All right, well, the TOCOL function, a really useful tool for cleaning up vast amounts of data and getting it ready for reports and drop-down lists. If you're still here and you found this video helpful, really appreciate a thumbs up. All right, thanks for watching.